and welcome to 100 Huntley Street Full Circle. I'm Ann Maines. Thank you for joining us. Today we're delving into the often shrouded world of emotionally destructive relationships. We'll be asking the tough questions that just might challenge you or someone you know to take those first critical steps toward a peaceful and healthy life. Author and counselor Leslie Vernick has witnessed the devastating effects of emotional abuse in relationships, and she's here with a plan of action that promises and delivers healing and hope.
So say I'm a person who has been beaten down so much, and I have no self-esteem now, and I blame myself for everything, and I have no confidence. How do I, decide that I'm going to make a change and I'm going to start standing up for myself? I mean, it's not overnight, is it? You just don't go, okay, today I'm going to stand up for myself, and no more, it's all his or her fault. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Right, and one of the reasons I tell my story in my book is here I am, I'm a Christian counselor. I'm supposed to know how to do this, and it took me a long time, and I talk about that in the book so that I want women or men, whoever reading the book, to understand that it's not snap your fingers and all of a sudden I'm going to decide. No. You take the first step, and then as you learn that step, you take the next step. But I think one of the ways that someone heals from this kind of devastation is just what you said, Melinda. You have to begin to see God differently. That's the very first step, because oftentimes you see God the same way you see your abuser, or your abuser, you see God that way. I saw God as, capricious and angry and disappointed in me all the time and never was good enough, never could do enough, and that affected then the way I saw myself. And so as I began to see God differently, as a God who was for me and not against me, a God who was good and loved me, then all of our identity is forged in relationship. Right. It depends on whose eyes you're looking at yourself through. So it wasn't my mother's eyes, it was God's eyes. And so then that began to change the way I saw myself.
Oh, that's good. I have a feeling there's a lot of women, people watching, but women particularly watching right now who are saying, you know what, I am in that emotionally destructive relationship right now, and I am so afraid to take a step outside of this little bitty box that's been drawn for me. I've heard it said that fear causes us to focus on what we see rather than who we know. You say that really the first step is knowing God, is having that deep knowledge of who you are in Him, who He is in you, and that's the basis for getting out of that. And I think there's people watching right now who are saying, okay, what do I do next? What do I do? What is the first real step I can take, because I'm afraid, to get out of this relationship or to move beyond where I'm stuck right now?
If there was someone who's listening right now saying, that's me, I would say to her, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to tell someone. Because what happens in a destructive relationship is you get isolated and you begin to think everything that's true that your abuser is telling you. And so as you begin to tell someone, other people, healthy women who can encourage you and support you and pray for you, you begin to get a different sense of yourself. Because again, relationships affect us. And so if we're only in destructive relationships, we begin to get beaten down. But if we begin to have other relationships where women can encourage us and support us and teach us the truth about ourselves and about God and about life, then we begin to be empowered. Because one of the freedoms that God gives us is our power to choose. And when we can't even choose anymore because our abuser won't let us make a choice, of course we're afraid. And so we can choose to tell someone, we can choose to get some help, we can choose to start to grow, and that then helps us conquer that fear. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can happen.
That's good words. And I just want to echo what Leslie has just said. Really realize that you have the power because God has given it to you. If someone else is controlling your life right now and you're feeling like you're at your wit's end, you don't know what to do, take that power back, okay, that God gave you, and then give it to Him. Because only God can give you the strength, the wisdom, the purpose, the next step to take